Hello, Sunflower family, and welcome back. Happy Tuesday. We are so happy, as always, that you decided to spend your Tuesday night and join us for another incredible episode of Season's Sunflower Hour. This is so exciting. I still get chills every time I say that. And as usual, we start every episode out with some beautiful gratitude. So I want to thank you all again so much for your love, for your support, for continuing to tune in and to being such great viewers because we love all of you. Yay, it is true. You guys are amazing. Have nice. Thank you for coming and tuning in every single episode. I love it. It's true. Season is on. This is a good time of the night. So we have so many really great things coming up. The ALS Association is always busy doing some incredible things, and this month is absolutely no exception. So I want to let you guys know all the great happenings that are going on right now. First up, we have a teleseries. You guys have heard me talk about this in the past. We have another one coming up on October 23rd from 1 to 2:30 p.m. on Zoom. And as usual, it's completely free of charge. Anybody can sign up. And the topic for this one is going to be home modifications for accessibility and safety. So this is really great for anybody that is a caregiver that's taking care of a loved one or friend or family member that has ALS, because there's so many components of this that maybe you don't think of because you're so preoccupied with 1,000 other things. Adapting the living environment to the changing stages as ALS progresses, there's a lot to that. And this teleseries is going to give you all the helpful information, tips, and tools that you may need in that situation. And all of the speaker and our care service coordinators that are going to be on this call, on this teleconference, they're going to stick around after the presentation to do a live Q&A, which is going to be really great. So bring all of your questions, anything that you might be curious about, wondering about, because you will have the experts right there free of charge to help and answer all of your questions. So make sure you check that out on October 23rd, 1 to 2:30 p.m. And Sam has already put the link up. If you want to register, you can absolutely still get in, make that happen, or spread the word to people that need to know about this information. And as you guys have heard us talk about on the last episode, guys, so we have this costume contest coming up because it is the month of October. I can't believe it. I know so many of you have been waiting for this, for all things fall and pumpkin spice and pumpkin pie and all that craziness. We are finally here. Fall is upon us, and we are having a costume contest. So make sure you can use a picture from your past or get dressed up, play your favorite character or anything you want to, but take a photo of you. We want to see your best costume. In fact, I challenge you to come up with your best, most creative Halloween costume yet. Take a photo of it and send it over to us either on social media. You can find us on Instagram at ALSA Chicago, or you can send it directly to my email, season@alsachicago.com. That'll be your official entry. We want to see you. Send all your photos and get your friends and family to do it too, because this is just so much fun. And we will tease this on the next episode also. Maybe we'll even, if we get some really good ones, maybe we'll even give you a taste of what people sent in. But we will officially choose the winner on October 26th on our Instagram live story at 9 a.m. So tune in there for that. But make sure you get your contest entry in before it is too late. So send us those photos, guys, because the month is going to go a lot faster than we think it is. I'm sure of it. And also, this is really, really cool. I know I get so excited about this stuff, but this stuff is really fun to me. So Spoonful of Comforts. Who's heard of this? Anybody put it in the comments. I have not, and I am so glad I finally heard about this because this place sounds incredible. So I love this tagline. If you can't mail a hug, then this is the next best thing. So this company, they have ready-to-eat meals that you can send. So it's all kinds of different soups. So you can send people, as if someone's sick, let's hope that nobody gets COVID, but if somebody does, it's called ice cream. Is it now? If you want to, you send it to them. They will deliver it straight to their door. It's amazing. Well, Spoonful of Comfort, they are doing a promotion from now until the end of the year. Yeah, seriously, from now until the end of the year. Any purchases, if you go in and you put the code ALS Advocate in when you're checking out, they're going to donate 15% to our chapter, which is amazing. And that is so huge. So you guys want to check them out. They make, like I said, great gifts. Or if you just want to let somebody know, hey, you know what? I'm thinking about you. I miss you and I can't make it out to see you. send them a spoonful of happiness, send them a spoonful of comfort. Sam put the information up and she put the code up there. Don't forget ALS Advocate when you're making your purchase so that the 15% goes to our chapter. And we're going to talk about this tonight, guys. In case you've been living under a rock and you don't know what's happening this weekend here in Illinois, it is the Chicago Marathon. This is huge, world-renowned. It is happening, and this is so exciting because last year, thanks to our friend, not friend, the beautiful coronavirus, they did not have the marathon last year, so they are back stronger than ever this year. Team ALS is running again because you know what? You just cannot keep us down. So we are going to be talking about all things marathon tonight. That's really fun. So that's October 10th. If you know what, you guys, if you're bored and you have nothing to do and you're in the area, come out. We have some cheer tents. It is so much fun. The runners appreciate it so much. If you just are there to cheer them on, we have all kinds of fun noisemakers and fun things that you can put on, dress up, and just give some love to just not only our runners, but all the runners that are out there for the marathon, because it is tough. I say that not from experience because I'm pretty sure I would never make it and it would probably get the best of me. So I say this as an onlooker from the side. It looks impossible. Obviously it can be done, not by me. So we need to cheer these people on and give them some extra love for all the craziness that they're doing, like 26.2 miles. So that, and then little teaser. So if anyone watching here is creative, if you like to maybe draw, maybe design, maybe create some magic, keep your eye out because a big announcement will be coming on Thursday, a big national announcement that is really cool. And you can have your shot at designing something that, I don't know, can we say maybe might be, I don't know, worn on people all over the world? Yeah, you can have a shot at that. So keep an eye out. Make sure you check out the ALS Association's Instagram, Facebook. You can find us everywhere at ALSA Chicago because you want to see what's coming. So if you're creative, keep that in mind because we want you to have a shot at winning this really, really exciting thing that I'm not going to actually tell you about. I'm just going to tease you about a little bit, but it's worth it. So check that out. Who else is watching? You guys, make sure if you're new to the show, go ahead and give us a follow, subscribe so that you don't miss any of these, amazing episodes. And also hop in the comment section because we love hearing this. We want to know where you're from. Where are you watching this from? What's on your mind? Just share some things with us. We like seeing it. We know Kevin's watching, so I love that. And we know that Kevin, I think, is a fan of ice cream. So that is good to know. We love getting to know our viewers like that. So if you're watching, chime in. Tell us hi. We want to hear from you. Kevin's from Tennessee. Good to know, Kevin. How's the ice cream in Tennessee? I'm sure it's pretty awesome. Okay, guys, that's all the really fun stuff that's happening. I will remind you about that again throughout the show because I know I hit you with a lot of information right off, but I don't want to waste any more time because we have two amazing individuals with such incredible stories. I want to dive right in because you're going to want to meet them. I know you will. Our first guest tonight, he is a retired teacher who has spent his life watching the Chicago Marathon. Now, in 2017, he went from being a spectator on the sidelines to a runner. I don't know how he did it, by the way. I'm serious. This run would kill me. So kudos to him. But the intensity that went into training for this marathon was absolutely nothing compared to what he has had to go through and come through in his life. Things like an ALS diagnosis. His mom, Ramona, was diagnosed with ALS at the very same year he entered the Chicago Marathon. She lost her battle just 2 short years later, and through all of the heartbreak and losing his mom, John found a new purpose in his reason for running. Now, here we are 4 years later, and John is still running the Chicago Marathon. And not only is he running it, but he is running it for Team ALS. And we are so happy to have him. And John will be running this weekend on the 10th. So you guys, if you're around, make sure you come and cheer him on because I know he would love to see all of you. And here to share his journey and his mother's story, please welcome John Noyes. Hey, John.
Hello, Susan.
Hey, I love this perfectly.
Hello.
We are such fans of perfectly placed logos here. So I love what's going on behind you. Run to defeat ALS. It's beautiful. So beautiful. So first off, as we're diving into all this stuff, tell us about your mom. Tell me about your beautiful mom.
Well, Mom is a retired school secretary. She was a secretary for the first couple of years at the elementary school, and for 20 some years, she was a secretary at Genoa Middle School. And she was just a wonderful person.
Mm.
Didn't have a cruel word to say about anyone. And I think most everyone that went through the school system, teachers and students, all loved her.
Mm.
Her purpose was to help people, and that's what she did.
Oh, I love that. Even just
Um, uh,
talking
as
about
you
her, she,
said, in I'm sorry, it was just that in 2017, the spring, summer, ALS, as you had said during the intro.
yeah, stinks. There's no nice way of saying it. It just flat out sucks. And this is why we're here. I can't say it enough. This is why we're doing this, so that no family has to go through this. No son has to lose his mom. No wife has to lose her husband. No mother has to lose her daughter. We want to put an end to this. And when it comes to ALS, and you had mentioned when we talked that you didn't know anything about, thankfully, you didn't know anything about ALS before this happened, but then you found yourself in the midst of all of this, sort of immersed with ALS. It was your everyday life at this point. What was the hardest part for you about being an ALS caregiver? And maybe on the other side of that, not only what was the hardest part, but also what was the most rewarding?
Okay, the hardest part was watching someone that was so vigorous and active, even in her
Yeah.
80s. My mom would walk her dog every day, didn't matter the season. In the wintertime, I would have to get up to get over to her house to shovel her driveway before she would get out there. And she continued to mow her lawn. And then just to watch her deteriorate the way she did over that next year was just heartbreaking. Um, as you had said, I really knew nothing about ALS. I just knew it was Lou Gehrig's disease, and I
Yeah.
knew nothing really about it. And over the time, I began to research it and find out what a terrible disease it is, and then firsthand be able to watch what it did to a person. And it's something I don't want anyone to ever have to go through again, whether they have ALS or whether they're a caregiver trying to take care of someone, one of their loved ones who has it.
Yeah, it's something we wouldn't wish on anybody. This is awful. And so you were a primary caregiver, and there's a lot that goes into that, but it's all about, we've talked about it on the show before too. It's a community, and people come together, and you need that community in your life. You need that support system. So you found your way to the ALS Association. I kind of love this story. How did that happen?
Well, as you had said, for years, I've been going into the marathon. My wife, my daughter, and I, we live about 60 miles outside of Chicago, and we'd wake up and drive in Cumberland and catch the train, and then we'd just take the L all over town and watch the marathon. And after watching these people, I think, I can do that. And so in 2017, I actually applied for the marathon. And of course, I got accepted, not knowing anything about what it was going to entail. And it was after I got accepted that mom was diagnosed with ALS. And the Friday before the marathon, there was a huge expo with booths down there, people trying to sell things, give out information at McCormick Place. And one of the booths was ALS. And as I walked past, I talked at the booth and I signed my name up. But I had gotten into the marathon thinking, this is just something I'm going to do once. Well, I ran it in 2017, and then I got involved with Team ALS. And I ran it the next 2 years. And of course, I would have run it last year, except for the pandemic. And
Yeah.
I'm back again this year. And the people at ALS, the ALS Association, are just the greatest people on the face of the earth. They helped our family through all the questions we had, all the heartbreak we had. They were there for us. They provided all sorts of equipment that we needed. They were there with a nurse once or twice a week to help us. They made sure that we had the medication. They made sure that it was delivered. And then they were there to make sure that it was given out in the right doses, the right times, and the right day. These people were a savior to our family, and it's something that I will forever be grateful to the ALS Association.
I don't know, but I can probably say that I speak for them when I say I have a feeling that they are so happy that you found your way. Obviously, we don't want anyone to have to be a part of this family, but we are so happy now that you are, and you are forever. And I love that we sort of got our little tentacles in you, that you came around and now you can't leave us, that you want to just keep running a marathon every year. I love this.
Yeah. Well, whether I continue to run, I will be there to help Sarah. Sarah Brandt does a tremendous job in organizing Team ALS.
It's true.
What she has done for all the runners is amazing. She has provided so much for us, and I'm just so grateful to the association, and I will be part for the rest of my life.
I love it. And I want to know what kind of crazy person, I love this, I mean this as a term of endearment, who watches a marathon and thinks I can do that? Because I watch a marathon and I think, I cannot do that. And what are these crazy people eating that they can't do this? But I love that you had that energy. You thought, I can do this. And then you did it. Not only did you do it 1 year, but you continue to do it year after year. I think that is amazing. What is that run like for you? I mean, that's a lot. What is that like?
Well, what's really nice is the first few miles, you have just so much adrenaline, and there are so many people there, and there's over 1 million people along the route, and the signs that they have are amazing. And all of a sudden, you're about 10 miles in, and you go, wow, I can't believe I've just run 10 miles, and I don't even feel like it yet, because the energy you get from the crowd. And Team ALS, we've got the cheer stations along, so there's a couple spots where they're there just looking for the runners as they come by, the ALS runners as they come by, and it's special right in that area. But it is it's hard. Otherwise, everyone would do it.
It's true. I know I can't, but I do love the vibe and the energy of being there, being in the cheer tent. Cause like you said, there is something really magical. It's really magical about watching somebody coming around the corner or coming down with that ALS t-shirt on. I don't know. It just gets me, it still gives me butterflies. Just knowing that you guys are out there, you're putting your body through this for us. And so speaking of that, why are you doing this? I mean, we know what happened to you. Why do you run? Why is this so important for you to come back after your initial goal of, you know what, one time I want to do the Chicago Marathon once, and then you found us? Why is this so important to you?
Well, the first time I ran was for myself. And ever since then, I've run for my mom, and I've run for everyone else that has had the experience of ALS, of either having themselves or a family member having come down with ALS. And basically, as people say, I run for those that can't. And that's what I think most of the people on Team ALS are doing. They're running for those that can't run.
Yeah. This gets me just so excited. So over the past 4 years, what are some of your favorite memories from the marathon?
Well, the first year I ran, before I ran for Team ALS, the thing I'll never forget is we drove in that morning. I parked at Cumberland. We took the train down. And after the race, I met up with the family. And all of a sudden, we go to catch the blue line. And all of a sudden, I'm looking down those stairs and I'm going, I can't walk down those stairs. I couldn't get to the train. My legs hurt so
Oh
bad. And
no.
so what I did is I said, what I really need is a Coke. And my daughter ran over to McDonald's across the street and got the biggest Coke. And I sat there and drank it before I could even get downstairs and get to the train. And just to be on the train with other runners wearing their medals, it was exciting. Um, but it's just being out there right now with the
Yeah.
members from Team ALS that it's just fabulous.
Mm. I believe it. I mean, honestly, I believe you. What about, because there's so many run questions I just want to ask you, because this is just not my world. And I'm so impressed by somebody that can do this. I joke, it's real pathetic. I pretty much get out of breath going to my mailbox. So it's real embarrassing. So I have so much admiration, respect for somebody that can do this. But not only, like you said, not only just run to run, but run for all of those people that can't run. That takes it to just a whole nother level. So what would you say to someone like me, to all those people that are watching or going to see this video right now that think, wow, I want to run the Chicago Marathon, but I can never do this? What do you say to those people?
You can do it. You can do it. Matter of fact, you don't have to run it. You can run and walk, and there are a lot of people, myself included, that will walk part of it. My training is not always the best, but and there's people that go with a plan of run a certain amount and then walk a certain amount, and they have it planned out for all 26.2 miles. And a lot of people do it with different groups, whether they be charity groups, whether they be neighborhood groups. They get involved and they run. They're not out there running as an individual, and it's something that people can do if they put their mind to it.
Okay. I love that attitude, that spirit. Yeah, you're right. You can do anything you put your mind to. So if you can get out there and you can train, I mean, were you always a runner? Or when you said, I want to do this, was this something that was completely foreign to you and you had to start from the beginning to build your way up to this?
Well, I'd run, but I'd only run a few miles, 3-4 miles a day. And it's 3-4 miles isn't anything like 26.2. And so what's nice out here in Genoa is there are a number of young couples that actually started a run club out here. And they actually get together and run at 5 o'clock in the morning around town. And just a few miles away in Sycamore, they're on the old railroad track that's called the Great Western Trail. And it runs from Sycamore into St. Charles. And last year, our run club actually of us, and half of them actually ran a marathon. The other half actually ran a half marathon. We did it on the Chicago Marathon date. Is we ran the Great Western Trail from Sycamore over towards St. Charles and back. And it's just a great group of people here in Genoa that have gotten together and they motivate each other. It's a great group.
Yeah. I love that. So what are some tips then? What tips do you have for people maybe that are running in the marathon, maybe for the first time, that you're a seasoned running professional at this point? Oh, that's okay. We lost him. He'll be back. Let's hope. I think his internet was getting a little spotty and he was coming in and out. But I will tell you, in case he doesn't come back, I love this story. So he told me this really great tip when we were talking on the phone that his wife had told him he was running for us and he had got his shirt and his wife said, put your name on that shirt. And he thought, no, why am I going to put my name John on my marathon shirt? But he did because, as you know, most people know, happy wife, happy life. So you always listen to the woman. So he went ahead and he put his name on his shirt. He was running the marathon. And as he was going through, I don't want to get the story wrong, so I feel bad. So John, when you come back, you can probably correct me. But he ran into someone he hadn't seen in a really long time who yelled out, who saw his name written on his shirt and yelled out his name. And he was able to stop and go over to the side and talk to him, which never would have happened if he didn't have his name on his shirt. And then as he progressed through the marathon, going past all the people that are watching on the sidelines, strangers, when he would start to get tired and the miles would start to hit him, a random stranger on the side would yell out his name and, you can do this, John, you've got this, keep going. And it was just this beautiful moment that he was sharing with me about how important it was, just that little tiny thing, like putting your name on your shirt, that can just open your world up to these beautiful strangers that are there supporting you, wanting you to do your best. And they help continue to keep you going and push you and to make the end. Because 26.2 miles, guys, that is tough. So if you are running the Chicago Marathon, take that little tip from John's wife, maybe put your name on your shirt so that everybody out there can see who you are and cheer you on and support you along your journey. And then I also do want to touch on the fact that John made it very, very clear to me, and I loved hearing this also. He had this experience with the marathon 2 different ways. He ran for himself, like he said, and then he stepped into this world of running for all of those who can't run for themselves. So we'll have to have John back sometime because I really want him to be able to share with you those different experiences and what really sets us apart. Oh, I knew he would be back. There you are, John.
Oh, this is what I worried about all day.
No.
Is something happening with my technology?
It's all good. You know what? Technology gets me all the time too. This is perfect because I was just teeing you up for this. I was telling everybody how much I loved hearing you tell me that you ran the marathon for yourself. And then now you run the marathon for us and for all of those out there that can't run. What was the difference like? Why should somebody run for Team ALS?
Oh, Team ALS has just, they do so much for their runners. You get a bond when you meet these people, because before the pandemic, Sarah actually had a get together for Chicagoland area runners. We met for pizza, and you got to see these people that you had just read about on Facebook. Okay. Now you actually get to sit down and talk with them over some pizza. And we had done that in the summer, and it was really nice. But she has a coach that any of the runners are able to contact. Coach Brendan is just fabulous with the work and suggestions that he gives to dinners. Gives the runners. And we have a dinner on Saturday night, and a lot of the runners show up for our pasta and chicken. But then it's almost a tearjerker because everyone shares their experience with ALS. Some are just because of a friend, but many are family members. I can remember 2 years ago when we met, there was a group from Philadelphia, and the dad had ALS, and he was actually there. And they had a team of runners from Philadelphia, and it actually brought tears to your eyes, listening to everyone talk and listening to Dad, who was suffering from ALS at that time. And it's just that Saturday night dinner, it really gets you knowing the reason why you're involved. And then Sunday morning, we get together at Roosevelt University. Sarah and Team ALS have a floor rented out, and there's snacks provided there. It's a place where you can meet family afterwards. You can securely leave your belongings there as you're out running. You don't have to take them down to Grant Park and check them in. You can leave your stuff right there on the floor, and it's secure. There's massages afterwards, which I can vouch for, are great. And what's really nice is when you're done, you walk in that room, whether you ran the race in 3 hours or like me, 6 hours, when you walk in wearing your medal, everyone just stops and everyone cheers and claps as you walk in the room. And it's just such a feeling of togetherness you have in that room with everyone. And before we go out, I've yet to be able to experience there's a group photo. And, the first year I wasn't sure I really wanted to do it because I only live an hour outside Chicago. So we come home after the dinner and then drive back in. And I saw the group photo and I'm like, I'm doing that. Next year, we're leaving early. And my wife and my daughter, we get up early, we drive in, we park at Cumberland just off the Kennedy. We get on the train. I'm thinking, this is great. We're going to be there for the team photo. And the train doesn't move because it's a little after 5 a.m. and some guy in one of the first cars had a gun. And they called the police, and we sat there and sat there and sat there. And finally we left, and I looked at my watch. I says, I'm going to miss the photo again. So this year, we're not taking any chances. We got ourselves a hotel room downtown. So we're going to stay downtown so I can walk over to Team ALS at Roosevelt University and get my picture taken with all the other runners. So I'm excited about that. And I shared with you a tip of putting your name on your shirt. The first couple of years, I'm not going to put my name on. And then the last marathon, my wife, she got the tape out in the Team ALS room and she put my name on. So as I'm running, it was neat. I mean, there's people, they're yelling out my name. Way to go, John. Congratulations, John. Keep it up. And I don't know where, mile 20, 22, and I am just dragging. The crowds have thinned out. Once you get past Chinatown, they thin out a little bit. And all of a sudden, there's a guy on the side, and he says, way to go, John. And I looked over and I go, hi, Mike. Well, when I had been an athletic director at Dundee Crown High School, Mike was our police liaison, who, when I left Dundee Crown, he left as well because he became police chief. And he just saw my name. I looked up and saw him, and he goes, John, because all he saw was my name on my shirt. Otherwise, I would have just passed right on by him, and I actually stopped. And I talked to Mike for a little bit. So I do encourage people to have their name on their shirt. You never know what could happen. And that right there proved to me, yep, I need my name on my shirt.
I love that. You never know what can happen, and you never know who you can see, who's going to be out there in the city just ready to cheer you on and give you some love. I love that so much, John. So you guys, if you're watching, you guys can see John this weekend on October 10th right here in the city for the iconic Chicago Marathon. You give him that. Yeah, that's right. He will be wearing that beautiful baby right there, the Run to Defeat ALS, because as John said, he is not running for himself. He is running for his mom. He is running for everybody that cannot run so that we can continue this fight to find a cure. John, do you have anything you want to say to everybody watching?
If you're in the Chicagoland area, be part of that 1,500,000 people that come out and cheer on it. We used to have 45,000 runners. From what I understand, it's going to be down to possibly 35,000. And cheer on last I heard, Sarah said we had 98 runners for Team ALS, and we will be wearing our red tanks, and come cheer us on. It's supposed to be a beautiful day for the spectators, but not so, it's going to be too hot for the runners, but it's going to be a nice day outside.
I love it. And you guys make sure you check out, you'll be able to see John coming because you will see his name on his shirt thanks to his wife. So give him a shout out, yell, hey, John. John, thank you so much for sharing your story and telling us about your wonderful mom. I know she'd be so proud of you, and she's going to be right there with you on Sunday.
Susan, thank you so much. It was an honor and a privilege to share this time with you.
You're the best. I hope I will be seeing you real soon.
Thank you, Susan. Bye.
You guys, seriously, if you are in the Chicago area, make sure you head out to anywhere along the route. You can stop and cheer them on from anywhere, or you can find the ALS tents. We're located at a couple of different mile markers to cheer our team on. We'd love to have you. It's such a cool vibe. And you get to meet people like John who just have beautiful stories and that are running for such a great mission and being so gracious to put their bodies through all of that to help end this disease. And speaking of that, you guys can still play a part in that too, because remember, there is no amount of effort to fighting to end this disease that is too small. So we have our Tiltify campaign still going on. We have not yet reached our goal. So you guys can help us do that by donating to our Tiltify campaign. You can either, I know Sam will put the link up in a second. Otherwise, you can head to the About Us section on Twitch where you're watching us right now. Find that beautiful purple box and hit the donate button. No amount of money is too small. And all of this is going to help fight to find a cure. There it is. There's a link if you want to just make it easier on yourself. Click on the link, make a donation, you put your name in there. We'll give you a shout out on the show, because it means so much to us. Because again, guys, every single service that the ALS Association provides to all of those fighting ALS and their families are completely free of charge. And the only way that we can keep doing this and we can get closer and closer to finding a cure is because of people like you helping out. So we appreciate you. We love you. We will never forget you. And you are being such a crucial part in us getting closer and closer to finding a cure. And remember, don't forget to get your photos in for the Halloween costume contest. I just want to remind you of that again. And then in case you've forgotten, because John was so fun to talk to, make sure you visit the Spoonful of Comfort. And when you're buying something to send a little surprise to someone, make sure you put ALS Advocate in the box at checkout so that they can give us that 15% and going straight to us. So all of that, let that sink in with you. And as you're shopping on the internet, looking at all the good things that they have to offer on Spoonful of Comfort, I want you to get ready. Get ready for my next guest. She's incredible. She is such a delight to talk to. Her and I just got lost in conversation for a very long time. I can't wait to meet up with her, maybe have a girls' night out. She's incredible. Her sweet soul has such a love for the outdoors, for travel, and for a very special, incredible man named Stuart. Life brought Sylvia and Stuart together with a complete chance encounter that turned into almost 43 years of marriage. The two built a life and a family together, which was a complete dream come true. Most of us know that life doesn't always go as we plan, and the couple had their fair share of truly unfair curveballs, one of those being ALS. In 2015, Stuart was diagnosed with ALS, and after an incredibly strong battle, he lost his fight 2 years later in 2017. So here to share her story and tell us about Stuart, please welcome Sylvia Weitzman. Hi, Sylvia.
Hi.
I am so excited you're here with us. And you guys, you're going to get to hear it in a second. I cannot get enough of her accent. I am such a fan. I talk a lot, but I would really like to just sit back, let her just go and chat, because you're just going to want to listen to her.
You're too funny.
I wish I had it. You're going to have to teach me how to talk like this. So first off, because I get so excited about these kind of stories. So you and Stuart, I loved hearing this because I am so obsessed with love and I love happy endings and I love love stories and I love all things like that. You guys have such a fun story. It was complete chance. Shouldn't have even happened, really, if life played out the way that it was supposed to with plans. You guys met by chance. So tell me about this. Tell me how you and your husband met.
Yeah, my girlfriend and I decided we were going to take off and see the world. And we put a backpack on our backs and took off for Europe, and with the intention of staying in youth hostels the whole way. But we only had a very small amount of money, and by the time we got to Germany, which was just 2 countries away, I decided that the youth hostels were way too expensive, so we were going to take the next hitch to the closest campground. So that's what we did. We got a ride on a truck, and I dropped us off at a campsite, and there I was putting up my tent, and here comes over this burly guy and says, would you like to use my mallet? You know, to pound on my
So
stomach.
that was the line. That was the line.
That was the line. Because I was pounding in the stakes with my clog, and which is a wooden shoe, if no one knows what that is. So yeah, that was it. And you know, I said to my girlfriend, if anyone offers us a free meal, you take it because we don't have very much money. So they came back later and said, would you like to join us for dinner? And so we said, absolutely. And that was the beginning of a beautiful relationship.
And the rest is history, as they say.
Yeah, the rest is history.
Well, for all the gentlemen watching, maybe that's a great tip. That's the opening line. Would you like to use my mallet? That'll get you a wife. I love that. Would you like to use my mallet and let me give you a free dinner? And that's all it takes.
Just always give her the free food and you're a winner every time.
I love that so much. And we're so lucky that Stuart happened to be from Chicago, because then we got you. You got to come here and be a part of Illinois. I love this.
Thank you. Thank you. Had I known it was going to be so darn cold in the wintertime, I may have changed my mind.
See, he was good. He tricked you. He made you fall in love with him first before he hit you up with the, haha, this is what you're signing up for.
Exactly. I did come over the first, when I first came to visit, it was just on a 3-month visa. And then, that was it. Basically, we realized that we really wanted to spend more time together. So then I got another extension for a 6-month visa. And after 6 months was up, I had to go back to England, and he just got on the next plane and came and got me. So I came back and got married in 1975. So, yeah.
That must have been one really impressive mallet.
It was. When it did the trick, it put the tent up. So we're in good shape.
I love it. I love all the fun, the warm and the fuzzies about this, because you guys had this magical, so we said almost 43 years together.
Yeah, very lucky. Yeah.
You had, and I think he was an incredibly, incredibly lucky man to have found you and to have you by his side. But unfortunately, we know how the story ends already.
Yeah.
That's why we're here, because this is awful. What was this like? Having Stuart diagnosed with ALS and just throwing your world upside down?
Well, obviously it was really traumatic. I mean, I think that, he didn't, when he found out that he had it, he was diagnosed with it. He didn't tell me immediately. It took him a couple of days for him to build up the courage, I think, to tell me.
Okay.
Because he'd had lots of different tests, because his left arm was very weak, and he played a lot of golf and it was getting weaker. And he just kept going to all of these different people, all these different doctors and neurologists, and they couldn't figure out what it was.
Okay.
And then he finally went to this one neurologist in Evanston, and she diagnosed it. Okay. So it took him a couple of days to build up the courage to tell me, but he was so brave. I mean, he took it all pretty much in stride. He was always concerned about how it was going to affect everyone else. His friends that he loved dearly. He had lots of very, very, very close friends. Lloyd and Henry being like brothers to him. So it's very tough telling everyone about it.
Yeah.
And his cousin Sandy as well. It's just very hard.
It's tough. Yeah. And there's no easy way to say that, because I think what makes it so awful is people know, or if they don't know, they learn real quickly what the end result is. You don't get to say, okay, we're going to fight this. We're going to come out on the other side of this. There is no.
There's no coming out.
Yeah. There isn't.
So, you make the most of it, basically. And his attitude was what gave me strength, and I think actually gave everyone else strength, because he was just so brave about it all.
Yeah, I love that, because I remember you from our conversation. That one really stayed with me too, because you even said that was one of the things that hit you, maybe really stuck out to you, was the way he handled it. That you were mad, and he wasn't. He wasn't.
I wanted him to be mad. I kept thinking to myself, why aren't you getting mad? I'd be really mad. Yeah. But he wasn't. He was always smiling, always cracking jokes, and just always trying to make people at ease with it. Like it was nothing. Not that it was nothing. But, it wasn't a bigger deal as it was.
Okay.
He came to terms with it very, very quickly, that he knew that he was going to die from this. and he was going to make the most of what the time he had left.
Ah,
So, we did a lot of traveling. We went to Hawaii with some friends. And then we went to England for a couple of months and spent that time with my family. We rented this beautiful cottage in the countryside, and it was just gorgeous. It's just, and everyone came, friends and
ah,
family, people came in from the States. So it's
okay.
beautiful. Yeah.
Ah, and the courage I feel like that it has to take that attitude when you're faced with something so grim. I could see how it would be real easy to fall down that hole of why me, but the
Yeah.
courage and the strength that it takes to
Yeah.
not let yourself go there and to have that attitude is so amazing.
Yeah. And not feel sorry for yourself.
Yeah.
He didn't feel sorry for himself at all. And it was like,
Ah,
that's one strong personality, one strong person. He had a lot of love to share. He loved
okay.
people. He was a great talker. He loved to tell stories, So
Oh,
people love to visit.
okay. Do you have a favorite memory of him that you'd want to share with us?
Oh gosh.
I know I'm hitting you with the big ones. I'm putting you on the spot. It's hard to think of it when I put you on the
Yeah,
spot like this.
a
I'm sure
favorite.
there's so
I
many.
think, one of my favorite memories is when we were in England together with the whole family. And he just, like I said, just tried to make everyone feel so comfortable about it. He was in a wheelchair at this time, and to him, he was being pretty blasé about it, really. Um, and I don't know. There's
Yeah,
so many beautiful things that I remember about him, and I
so many. I love
can
it.
never forget him.
Well, you found your way to us. You found your way to the ALS
Yeah,
Association, to the
yeah.
Greater Chicago chapter. What what does that mean to you? What does the
Oh my
chapter mean
God.
to you and your family?
They were my savior. For me, they were my savior. We were able to get in touch with Peggy Campbell,
Okay.
I think her last name is. And she was there every second of the way for us. If I had a question about something, I'd call her, and she'd be able to answer it, or she'd get me in touch with a person that could help us. She let us use from their closet. We had, our bedroom was upstairs, so she was able to let us borrow a stair climber. It was like a
Oh,
wheelchair that actually climbed up the stairs.
okay.
So we were able to use that until Stu passed away, which was a life changer. I mean,
Okay.
I was going to bring everything downstairs and have his bed downstairs, but we didn't need to do that anymore because I could just pull this thing right up the stairs. It was remarkable. But if it wasn't for the ALS Association, I don't think I could have coped with it at all,
Okay.
because they gave me strength, because I knew I had someone helping me,
Yeah.
watching my back, basically.
Yeah.
And they were able to get me anything I needed.
And I love and free. I can't stop saying it
And
because
free,
that's
yeah.
huge. I think
Not
people need to know that. That's
absolutely.
huge.
And they put you in touch with, different resources,
Mhm.
that we were able to get a chair built for him. Luckily for me, I had really good insurance because I was still working. So we were able to pay for that, but I ended up only paying a very little amount of it.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, they're remarkable. I can't express enough to you how wonderful they were and are, to have as a resource out there, because people need them so badly.
Yeah. And guys, this is everyone watching. I know it sounds like I'm hammering you all the time for this, but this is why these donations, this is why your support is so important to us, for people like Sylvia and her husband, because you hear what it's like. This is the experience. This is what she was going through. And the last thing that, Sylvia, the last thing you need to worry about when you're spending that precious time and making those precious moments with Stuart is the
Yeah.
logistics of
Yeah.
these things. And we
Yeah.
take that off your plate for you so that you can spend that quality time that you have
Absolutely.
left. So everyone watching, it is not too late. Make sure you head over to that Tiltify campaign. Like I said, every little bit counts. Every dollar matters and means something. So
Yeah, for
keep in mind,
sure.
Tiltify. Now, after your husband passed away,
Right.
life
Right.
sucks. And I can't even, that's the only word I keep using because this is
Yeah,
just so
because it
awful. It's
does. Yeah.
so awful. and you went through all of that, but you in all of that tragedy, and one of my favorite sayings is I love meeting all these people that truly turn this tragedy into triumph, because that's exactly what you did here. So in the midst of this horrible thing that happened in your life and missing your husband, you decided to honor him in a really, really special way, something cool, something unique. Hit the world with, what did you do to honor your husband?
I hiked the Appalachian Trail for 1,470 miles as a fundraiser so I could get funds for research. I didn't really know what else to do. I mean, I wanted to do something to make a difference, and the only difference we can make is to raise funds for research. So we can fight this and find a cure. In 2017, I started training. I mean, I'd never done anything like this before. So I started walking a few miles, like every other day. Then I built it up to, 4 miles, and then 9 miles, and then every day, until eventually I'd go out in the snow, I'd go out in the rain, I would eventually put the pack on my back, the weight that I was going to be carrying on the trail, so I could get used to carrying that. By the time 2020 came, I was pretty much ready, but then COVID hit, so I couldn't do it in 2020. So then I did it in 2021, which was April of this year.
Oh my gosh.
And just never really realized how tough it was going to be. It was absolutely brutal.
So did your training prepare you for any of that?
A little bit, but not very much. It was like the first 2 weeks was like being in this horrific boot camp. You're just climbing mountains and sleeping on the ground and, finding resources, things.
I want to say it so bad, but I won't. Guys,
not a lot of privies on the trail. Let's put it that way.
Guys, and I really want you to think about this, because it didn't really hit me, I think, when we were talking until you and I were talking. But when the girls of the chapter were telling me what you did, I mean, it sounds so cool, but the logic didn't set in for me what that really meant. So think about this, everyone that's watching. Let me break this down for you for a second so that you understand how exceptional Sylvia is. So when she says hiking the Appalachians, she doesn't just mean, she went out and she'd go take a hike for a couple hours a day. No, she means she spent 4 months on the trails, living in nature, not home, not in her bed, everything that she needed to live for 4 months in a backpack that she wore on her back. She'd spend the entire day hiking, walking on the trails, and then sleep in the grass, sleep on a sleeping bag in a tent, go to the bathroom in nature, just living life for 4 months. And she went from Georgia, she walked. We should say hike, because hiking is more intense than walking. She hiked from the state of Georgia to the state of Connecticut. Let's just put this out there. So almost 1,500 miles in 4 months. That is just so much bigger. I think when you hear the words, oh, I hiked the Appalachian Trail. No, guys, she hiked the Appalachian trails. You did it. You did a thing. And this is amazing. And I'm going to let you say this number because it is so amazing. Amongst this, and I want to remind people too that you are not a social media person. So we had talked about this. And it's true. Had you been on social media, I think this number would have skyrocketed because people would be so into knowing what you did, but they didn't. So realistically, nobody but the strangers that you were meeting along your hikes knew about this. And despite
my
that,
friends and family, yeah.
Yes. So with all of that being said, only interacting with people, you raised a heck of a lot of money. Hit them with how much money you raised on this hike.
Just over $11,000. So I'm pretty
more
proud
than $11,000.
Yeah.
That you just, 10x'd the amount of steps and miles you walked in dollar amounts for ALS.
I was very pleased with that. Very pleased. Yeah.
That is crazy. And I love this because I think you were telling me strangers, you would just tell them what you're doing. Strangers
Absolutely.
on the, they were just giving you money.
Yeah. hikers along the trail, you bump into people, you meet people that you actually, a lot of people that I'll have lifelong friendships with, because
Ah,
everyone's out there for a reason, doing
okay.
it for some reason.
Okay.
Not everybody's doing a fundraiser, but I tell them why I was on there, and I wanted to spread the word as well about
Yeah.
ALS. You know, a lot of people don't even know what it is.
Mhm.
And then once I told them the story, they'd take down my email address, and then I'd send them the link, and then they would go on, and Sarah Brandt actually helped me set up a website where I could have a personal donation page. So I would give them that link, and then they would go on and they would donate that way. $20 here, $100 there, $250. I mean, it was amazing, the generosity of these people. And all you have to do is just tell them the story, and their hearts. Everyone's got such a huge heart, and if they know the story, they're willing to give. Everybody wants to help.
You know, and Sam put the link up, guys, in case you missed it. But Sam put the link up right now to Sylvia's page that you can still go to. You can see, I think, photos probably. You can still donate to the cause. I think. I'm not quite sure. I haven't visited the page, but Sam put the link up there for all the things you need to know. But I love that we're talking about this right now, because you made such a beautiful point. Right now, it's real easy to focus on all the bad stuff in life and all the crazy things that are happening. It's real easy to get sucked into that negative headspace. What you're saying is so beautiful, that you got to be out in the world interacting with strangers and seeing how good people really are.
Yeah, yeah, it's just extraordinary. It really is extraordinary. And there's more. I didn't meet one negative person on the trail, not one.
Okay.
I mean, there are a couple of people that are a little strange, but you know, most of the people that I met were just really, really kind people.
I feel like that's a little worrisome to be out alone on a trail, sleeping in a bag with strange people. So I'm real glad everything turned out okay.
Yeah, it did. Well, the wonderful thing is that you hook up, you know, you start off on the trail alone, but within a week you're hiking with someone. And then, you know, as soon as they get what they call their trail legs, they take off. You know, they may be a bit faster than you, or they can go longer distances. So you end up losing, you call them your tramily. It's like
I was just going to say that. You're tramily.
I actually hooked up with about 3 different tramilies along the way. It's extraordinary. And you meet other fellow hikers as well. And I've got all of their, emails, and I text them all the time. And yeah.
Oh, I love it. Any of those hikers you want to give a shout out to that maybe are watching or are going to hopefully see this video?
Probably not, because I didn't shoot them the link, but but there was my really, really lovely tramily was my last 2 people was Giggles and her son Lucas. And another one was Professor, with Pack Professor. Everyone has a trail name.
I love this. I love this.
Okay, I know you're going to ask me what.
Oh, of course I am. Of course I am. You beat me to the punch. Yeah. So what was yours, friend of trail professor?
Mine was Potato Chip.
And of course, you've got to explain this. You've got to tell everybody why. Okay. So from now on, for the rest of this interview, I will be addressing you as Potato Chip.
Okay, and that's fine, because I kind of miss it actually. Because when I used to come down, you meet, like I said, you meet trail people along the way, other fellow hikers, and they all know your name, you know. And when I'm coming into the tent site some nights, they would recognize me from my red hat, from my ALS cap. And they'd say, "There comes Potato Chip." And I'd be like, "Oh, they didn't forget me," you know. So anyway, I got the trail name by, we were sleeping. It was a 27-degree night. We were in the Smoky Mountains. So everybody.
Right then and there, I'd be out. I'd say, "Thank you very much, Appalachian. Have fun. I'm out."
So, you know, everybody wants to get into the shelter, because there's a 3-sided shelter, and there's like a wooden floor that you can put your sleeping bag on and your pad. So we're all crunched up there. There must have been about 14 people just strewn across this floor, all on their sleeping pads and their sleeping bags. And my sleeping pad was brand new. So when I woke up in the morning, one of the guys was looking at me and he said, "Your name is going to be Potato Chip." And I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Why is that?" So he said, "Well, because you kept me awake all night with your potato chip bag. It crinkles like a potato chip." So my sleeping pad was very crinkly because it was brand new. But by the time I'd finished the trail, it wasn't as crinkly. So I wasn't keeping anyone awake at night anymore.
Okay. I love it. Potato Chip. That is how I will forever know you from now on. You are Potato Chip, the big PC. That is you.
Okay. I can deal with that.
You've been given a new nickname. I love it. Okay, so gorgeous Miss Potato Chip, what did you learn about yourself? Because being out there, having nothing but time on your hands, out in the wilderness for 4 months, what'd you come away with after all that?
I came away with the fact that I am a survivalist. I mean, I can probably survive anywhere. I became much stronger. I've always been a pretty strong person, but it gave me a lot of confidence, and it made me come to terms with the fact that Stuart wasn't coming back. Okay. And he's with me every day, and he was with me every day on the trail, but I know that he's not coming back.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot to recognize or to accept.
Okay.
I mean, you recognize it, but you don't want to accept it.
Okay. Was this part of the healing process for you?
Definitely.
To go through?
Yeah. Because I felt so helpless. I didn't know what to do. I felt like my arms had been chopped off. And so doing such a heavy task made me feel good about what I was doing. I almost felt like I had to beat myself up a little bit and able to get to the other end,
Okay.
But making so much, in the donations, being able to raise so many funds for research is what really gives me hope. So everyone out there, anyone can do this.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to hike the Appalachian Trail. Find something that you really love and start working on it, and then get people to sponsor you.
I love this. I love that. I love that idea, because that was your thing. You found your way to cope and to deal with this, and to not only just cope and deal with it, but to turn it around into an opportunity to help everybody else that's in Stuart's shoes right now, so that no families have to go through this again.
Yeah, for sure. That's the biggest thing. Just, it's an awful, brutal, unforgiving disease, and we've got to kick it.
We do. We have to. And I'm so glad that we have voices and champions out there like you, who are going to these lengths to make people listen, because I can't even imagine the number of people who you have now opened up their world to ALS, and you have introduced this into their life, and now they are going to be champions fighting on behalf of this too. And that came from you. You did that. So thank you. Yeah. I mean, thank you doesn't even seem like big enough of something to say, but thank you.
Please don't say thank you. You don't need to say thank you. It's something that we all need to do.
Yeah. Well, what would Stuart have thought of you if he was here right now today and we were talking, having this conversation? What would he think about you hiking the trails or coming home and saying, "Honey, let's do this. Let's go hike the Appalachians for 4 months"?
He would have thought I was absolutely out of my mind. He would have gone, "Are you crazy? I'm going to play golf."
I'm going to go play golf. You go sleep on the floor in the woods.
Exactly. Yeah, he wasn't much of a hiker. He was when we were much younger. We used to do a lot more things. So we canoed and portaged on lakes and did a lot of adventurous things. But as he got a little older, he wound down a little bit, and golf was his thing. He loved golf.
I love it. Well, we're going to have to have you back, because I could just talk to you forever, but I do want to have you come back, and I want to have you give some tips to all of our viewers that are watching that are now going to be so inspired by your story. They're going to take up hiking because we're going to have you come back as a
Yay!
resident expert, because we talked about so many great things that I didn't think of. And I'm not even a hiker, but you saying it, I thought this is such valuable information. So we're going to do a little class on sort of what to bring, what not to bring, how to keep your pack light,
Absolutely.
all these wonderful tips for being the pro hiker. We're going to get them from the expert herself, Queen Potato Chip. She's going to give you guys all the know-how. And until then, you guys can check out her page. But I do want to I know you don't want to hear thank you, but what you're doing, again, tragedy to triumph. I love these stories that you took something real crappy and you turned it into something real great. And you are keeping Stuart's story alive, and you are sharing his memory in such a beautiful way. I am
You're
so
very
excited.
sweet. Thank you.
No, it's true. And I know that he was there with you every step of the way. So
Yeah, for sure.
this just, oh, exactly. I know. I agree, Peggy. I know that Stuart
Thanks, Peggy.
is so proud of her. I guarantee he was there with you, just, pushing you along every step of the way.
For sure.
Pushing you along. I love it. Well, Sylvia, is there anything you want to say to people that are watching? Anything that you want to leave them on?
Just don't give up hope. Everyone can make a difference, really. I mean, this disease, anyone that has it, for right now anyway, there's not a real long-term, outlook. But if we all keep just doing what we're doing and raising funds and taking care of each other, everybody will get through it, and we will find a cure eventually.
We will. I love that so much. Thank you, Sylvia, for joining us tonight.
You're
love
welcome.
talking to you. I can't
Thanks,
wait to
Sue.
have you back to teach everybody how to be pro hikers.
Thank you so much. You
Have a
good
wonderful night.
Thanks, you too.
Bye. Well, that was Potato Chip herself, guys. She is somewhat, I'm not even underestimating this when I say this. She's a celebrity. Can I just say that on the hiking trail, people saw her coming. People heard the story, even though she doesn't have social media. I guarantee people were sharing that story, and they saw her coming. They saw that red hat and were screaming out Potato Chips, so excited. So what she did for Stuart, what she has done for the ALS Association has been so incredible. So as she said, guys, I want you all to remember this. We're definitely going to end the show in a second, but I really want you to remember that kindness goes such a long way. And all of us have the ability in our hearts, in our souls, to just be there for each other, to spread that kindness, to help the people around us. And you can do that by joining forces. Even if it's not ALS, help the people around you. Just be a good person and share some kindness, because you know what? The world needs so much more of that. So, exactly. And while you're spreading some kindness, don't forget to cheer on all of our runners, because the Chicago Marathon is coming up on the 10th. We are so excited for them. So much love to Team ALS, to Sarah, the fearless leader, to everybody running the marathon. Thank you guys for what you're doing. Team ALS, we love you. We are so proud of you, and we will be cheering you on. Everybody have a beautiful night. And until then, be bright and shine your light. We'll see you guys next time.